All right, we are going to solve the word problem before us. Now, just so you know, for both examples on this assignment, you will be using Pythagorean Theorem to solve. So, it says, Jason rode his bike 4 miles east and 7 miles north. How far is he from his starting point? Two really big things here that you need to understand is, one, you need to draw it out so you can see what's happening and have that visual. And two is to understand how a compass looks in terms of north, east, south, and west, and how we're going to use it here. So the first thing we need to do is draw it out. We're going to draw the scenario. So we're going to say Jason starts right here. This is his starting point. Let's say it's his house. Okay, whatever you want to say. Then we're going to figure out exactly how we're moving, how he rode. We're going to trace his steps. Jason rode his bike 4 miles east. Now if you look at this compass over here, east is to the right. So that means that we're going to go to the right from his starting point 4 miles. So draw a line, and I'm going to label it 4 miles. Now once he got done with that exactly 4 miles, he then went 7 miles north. If you notice back on that compass, north is directly up. So we're going to draw a line straight up and label it 7 miles. The question we're being asked is saying, how far is he from his starting point? Not how many miles did he travel in total. So that would create a right triangle. That is why we're going to be using Pythagorean Theorem for this example, to solve how far he is from his starting point. We know that for Pythagorean Theorem, our formula is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. In order to solve using this triangle, we need to identify all of our parts and all of our variables and the numbers we're going to replace. So the first thing you need to look for is c, which is the hypotenuse. It is always directly across from the right angle, and that just happens to be the one that we're looking for, so we're going to label that c. When it comes to a and b, it doesn't matter as much, but I personally like to put a as the smaller one and b as the second largest. So 4 miles I'm going to label as a, and 7 miles I'm going to label as b. Now that I've identified all of that, I'm going to go ahead and substitute that into my formula. So I'm going to rewrite it with those numbers plugged in. So I'm going to replace a with 4 squared plus b I'm going to replace with 7, so 7 squared equals, and then c, I don't know yet, that's actually what I'm looking for, that's what I'm being asked about, equals c squared. Now we're going to go through and start following the PEMDAS formula to solve. So we're going to start with 4 squared. That is the same as saying 4 times 4, which is 16. So we're going to replace that with 16 plus, then we're going to do 7 squared, which is the same as 7 times 7, which gives us 49. So we're going to fill that in there. Equals, and then c squared is going to stay the same because we cannot do anything with that yet. Now we're going to add those two numbers together. So 16 plus 49 gives us 65 equals, and then we still have the c squared there. The last step here is to square root. That is how you're going to get that c by itself. You have to do it on both sides. So we're going to do the square root of 65 and the square root of c squared. That cancels out the squared for the c, and the square root of 65 is 8.062. So c equals 8.062. For this, I really only want us to round to the nearest hundredth, and that means that you're rounding to the number that is second after the decimal. So I want you to leave it at that one. So you need to look behind it, and since that number is smaller than 5, you're going to leave it the same. So technically your answer here for c would be c equals 8.06. When you're entering this on Google Forms, go ahead and make sure that you're just entering the number. It's the easiest way to make sure you're not getting marked wrong because of small errors with like spacing or letters. So just put in 8.06 as your answer if this was your question. The keyword for this video is hike, H-I-K-E. I hope this helps.